That's an interesting one. And it becomes a very simple thing. We could just sort of lay down and we could just say, okay, that's fine. Okay, no problem. I agree. Okay. And then we can just do whatever we do, and we can sort of put lipstick on the pig, if you will. And now the pig is got beautiful lipstick and stuff, but the problem still actually exists. Okay, so that might be one approach. Another approach is to say, maybe, just maybe, the reason why the organization is so successful is because of that leader and their flaws, and whatever it was, that's what got it, that's what got the organization to be there. And I think that we need to be very respectful of the fact that that is the leader who got us there, right? And maybe if all of a sudden it was a different leader, or if they were changed dramatically, they might not have, So oftentimes there's a situation where the organization starts off, it grows to a certain level. The leadership style, skills, approaches, the systems, the processes, okay, and by the way, the people, okay, that are necessary to move to that next level just aren't there, right? It could very well be that the person who you had doing HR at the very beginning, or head of sales, might not understand how to run a big sales organization, or the person who's doing operations, same thing, it's more complex, they might not be the right one. It could very well be that at a small size, you have lots of jack of all and Jills of all trades, and now you need to make some changes. It could be the technology, is also straining, etc. Most leaders recognize that they're not perfect. And most leaders, almost every leader I've ever worked with, has got a desire to do better. But they also have got egos. And I think that the conversation that you have as an advisor has got to be one that's incredibly sensitive, and recognizing that if you want to help that leader get to that next level, you've got to work with what you have, right? And that's that particular leader's particular style, skills, etc. You could amplify the good. You can sort of address some of the toughest weaknesses in coaching and everything. But from a retreat perspective, they see that there's a problem, okay? And having a meaningful and fulsome conversation with them about their role in helping their team resolve that problem usually yields a particularly interesting outcome. I'll also say this: there's a very special role for that most senior leader at the retreat. Very often is to keep their mouth shut. And for them just to take it in. Of course they're going to participate, right? But if they sort of if they fill in all the space, there won't be space for their team to either build the peer relationships or contribute their ideas to moving the enterprise forward, right? And observing, okay, it suddenly means that they have a different perspective, because in a certain sense they're semi out of it. Now, what that means, though, from a retreat design perspective, is we have to make sure that there's ways that they can be in their role, not just as a participant and not just as a, quote, observer, which they are not, so that the expectations of the retreat are framed. Their views of the future and so on are framed. Where there's a chance for questions to be asked of them that might not be so comfortable. Here's a good example. One of the most effective techniques on that one is what I call a fireside chat. Sometimes it's very hard for the direct reports to ask or tell their boss something that they might not want to hear. But what if, for example, you had a fireside chat where that facilitator, who hopefully is senior enough to be a peer of the CEO or managing partner or director, can ask some of those questions and push a little bit. And as a naive outsider, they might not know where the sacred cows are. Of course, a lot of it will be pre-discussed beforehand. Nobody's going to get embarrassed, etc. But on the other hand, there could be some tougher questions that are asked. And if they're asked in a way that gives that leader a route to resolution of those issues, that's another technique that can be used to sort of have the conversation, right? And you can have the conversation beforehand by saying, by the way, here's some of the questions, just so we're clear, here's some of the questions that we're going to go on. Are you good with this? Right? And when the answer is yeah, okay, and usually they'll say, I'm an open book, I'm transparent. Good, you're going to demonstrate that, right? And it's refreshing, because it's a different way of having the conversation, rather than the executive standing up and doing the big presentation, right? It's just another way of making it more interesting. So.